Hey guys, HappyCattyCrypto here and welcome back to the channel. So I wanted to dive more into the LFG Foundation Guard, the wallets that are connected to it, the governance parameter wallets that are also connected to it, because there's a huge dispute as to what coins are where, what's kind of located where, and from what I can tell is they are not seeing the full picture, so to speak. So without further ado, let's dive straight into this one. Hey guys, and welcome back. So let's talk more about the LFG tokens that were supposedly removed from the Lunar Foundation Guard's supply, which is really peculiar because what we need to understand and determine with these coins is that they didn't come from the community pool. So this is like us more or less trying to possess something that really doesn't belong to us as a community. So I think it's irresponsible in a sense, and there's a lot of people that are quite upset with the way that I'm looking at these things. What I think is if more or less you can get legal agreement from those who are responsible for those coins, who have the seed phrases to the wallets and have true ownership. If you were to have them agree to it and it was a very mutually beneficial thing, then by all means, we should definitely approach something like that in a very smart, mature and sophisticated manner to get the full potential from it. Because like I was saying, this 222 million LUNC is kind of scratching the surface, and we'll be going over the money flow, but there's so many people talking about this. There's so many people that want to more or less decide what happens with these funds that just simply don't belong to us as a blockchain. And like I said, this is really just scratching the surface, because if we go and we look at other assets that we know TFL has access to, if we look at what we can see, DK has a treasure with him as to which he has access to quite a lot of funds. So this leaves us in a very peculiar situation where there's a considerable amount of LUNC possibly floating around. And during the time of the hyperminting and the crash around 2 years ago, somebody was abusing the minting system to produce coins in order to sway the vote to be able to fork Luna to a new chain, because the proposal went through the first time, it was rejected. They spoke more about it, they weren't happy, and then in the end DK had his own way. So I was saying about kind of like scratching the surface, and this is a document I've kind of been mulling over and coming back and forth with, but we can see in here, and this is something really interesting that a lot of people are actually not picking up on, and this is what makes me think they have some kind of situation that's actually producing Terra Classic native assets, so to speak, because in January 2024, we can see that the amount is actually subtotaled at around 10 million, so to speak. And then in February 2024, that actually goes up to 15 million. So like I was saying, this isn't something that's included in the LFG garden. Once again, there's a lot of funds that could actually be used because they have been listed in these assets. And from what I understand is the US Treasury is more or less the safeguard for all of these assets now. So if they're to make payments or they're to do anything to do with any of these funds, they need approval from the courts to do that. So it's a really interesting situation. Like I said, we're kind of barely scratching the surface, because in that article that we saw, it says 222 million LUNC, but by my calculation, just in the LFG system itself, which isn't the entirety of just the one wallet that's mentioned, there's an interconnectivity of quite a few wallets, and we'll be going over it, but the higher end of this thing is around 600 million LUNC floating around, which is a considerable amount just to be floating around. But once again, it's not something that we own, we have access to. It didn't come from the community pool, and more or less we are asking a company, we're not asking them, we're more or less suggesting that we're going to freeze your assets, you can't do anything, you can't touch them, because it's not beneficial for our blockchain. And that's really weird, and it's kind of the opposite, I guess, of what DeFi is for. But when you have a mutual agreement between the two parties, which could happen, because I myself got in contact with Chris Armani when I was looking into the alliance systems and I made all of the connections like that. So it is easy to kind of get in contact with these people and sort of not lay the lie down, but go, it would really help us out. How can we help you help us, kind of thing? How can we all mutually benefit from this? So like I was saying, it's on the upper end. So what we're looking at here in the middle is the actual LFG bank wallet itself. You can see there's a considerable amount going out, a considerable amount going in, and the overall balance is on the higher end of 200 million towards 222 million. So what we can actually see is there's more wallets that are connected to this. So we can see that this wallet ending in 74E6, which is the TFL bank, actually has a balance of 293. I didn't add this in. And if I do add this in, this pushes us up to the range of more 8 to 900 million, so to speak, more towards the 1 billion mark, which in comparison to our supply, it's a very small amount. And the majority of the coins are on CXs like Binance, KuCoin, places like that, BTC Turk. So like I was saying, you've got 293 million LUNC in this wallet. You've got 120 million in the wallet here ending in JJ99, which is the LFG governance wallet. It has a few of these governance wallets, and I guess they're multi-signature wallets that are used to more or less everybody within inside the LFG structure will agree to something, and therefore the money would be processed, so to speak. So we've got another wallet here, which is another LFG governance ending in X7I7, and this one has around 115 million LUNC. The next one over is not that important. This looks like some sort of very, I would call it like a ghost system wallet, as if it was created, connected at some point for some kind of purpose, but it hasn't been used yet. So these wallets are of high interest to someone like me who's trying to digest what they're going to be doing with these funds, so to speak, because once again, we don't own these funds. We have no legal right over these funds in any way, shape or form. If you were to go to a legal team and get legal advice, they would say to you, well, you don't actually own these coins. And it would be the same as them making the claim over your wallet, so to speak. So we've got the next one here, which is another LFG governance wallet being QPFG. And this has got around 120 million LUNC, so considerable amounts. So something to take note of is the thinner the line, normally there's not much going on there. So this is another one of these wallets that it hasn't really done much, and it's just kind of sat there dormant. Once again, one of these ghost wallets. So we can see here there's another LFG governance wallet, which is ending in AFVJ, and this has 129 million LUNC. So you can start to see that the article in itself is not scratching the surface. And if you are to go on the full frontal attack of these funds to try and get them blacklisted, removed, and completely nullified, it's going to be a very, very tricky job, but you shouldn't just kind of go for an arm, so to speak. I think you should go for the whole thing, like completely go for a jugular, so you're not backtracking a few times over. So once again, these wallets, we have another one ending in MH2F, an LFG governance wallet owning 105 million LUNC. So we've got another one here, which is a very peculiar one because it makes very, very specific transaction calls, which are doing weird things. I've seen wallets like this playing games before, which is an actual game that's built into the system, similar to a dice roll. But once again, just investigating this stuff and taking a deeper look into it. So this money flow tool really does enable us to see what's going on and how interconnected things are. Kraken is their in and their out at the moment. And as you can see, Kraken itself has 220 billion LUNC currently in its main CEX wallet. So when it comes down to, right, everybody wanting to go on the attack with funds that we don't control, and so many people want to burn coins and remove coins from the circulating supply. And the way to do that is in the same way Binance does it, which is through trading, getting people to use and utilize LUNC on their systems, which creates more transactions, which creates more burns as an end result. So burning then becomes a really, really good kind of like variable byproduct of the process, which inevitably leads to more volume, pushing more transactions, pushing the price up, seeing those really nice green candles. So we really can see that this LFG situation that's going on, it's a lot deeper than people can comprehend. And this really does come down to these money flow tools that we're able to provide. And it really gives us the ability to dissect things and see what's going on. So my kind of opinion, without having an opinion really on this situation, is we don't own the funds. They didn't come from the community pool. So it's not fair for us to take this stance, and it can really swing both ways and it becomes quite a slippery slope. But once again, trying not to be too opinionated on this thing and see it from both sides, that if there's a mutually beneficial way to get this done, it would be really good. So what I didn't want to do is bore you guys with like a 20-minute video of me going through the LUNC, then the USTC and kind of confusing things. And instead, we'll get another video out and we'll kind of dissect and dive into just how much USTC is out there, because there's talks of USTC being over collateralized and we can do all of these different things. And I think it's a little bit misleading, but we definitely have to dive into these things more. So keep an eye out for that video. I appreciate you guys showing up. Don't forget to drop a like, subscribe, comment, all of that sort of stuff. Hit the notifications bell to stay informed, to stay up to date. And yeah, other than that, stay safe, stay humble, stay aware. And as always, we'll catch you in the next one.